when you get onto self-improvement, it's very easy to go down the path of more, more, more. It's very easy to get bogged down with maximizing the amount of things that you have and how much money you have. Because as men, it's the simplest measure of success that we have, and it's, oh, if I have more money than you, then I'm better than you. And you're on self improvement to better yourself, and it's inevitable that it ends up getting there, right? You hear about the concept of a high value man, alpha male, all that stuff, right? The first thing you need to have is a lot of money, because money just, like I said, it's a very simple measure of success, and women do it as well, right? Like, there's a reason why women are so attracted to wealth, and I've heard Jordan Peterson speak about it so many times. It's because it makes sense, right? What women are looking for when they look at men with money, it's not because they want like all the money and like the flashy lifestyle and everything. That's definitely at the forefront of the mind of a lot of them. But even for the women that aren't materialistic, they still like guys who've got money, because it shows a level of competence, right? Like I said, it's the most basic, most surface level, most in front of your face measure of success that you can have, right? You also have people who can get into good shape, but getting into good shape, again, like anyone can get into good shape. Really, it takes like, some people are naturally in good shape just by the way they eat and the way they've always been, always have a fast metabolism and playing sports and everything. But even if you are out of shape, like, you can get into shape within 2 years, get into fantastic shape. It's not that difficult, right? It's level one. It's also another good measure of success. Like, if someone's got a really good physique, like a 10 out of 10 physique, like lots of muscle, aesthetic physique, low body fat, you can see this person's put in work for a long time. It's a good way that people gain like respect for you, because you can see that this person has put in work. But wealth is a whole different beast. And if you're like a young man who's trying to just build your life, you'll realize like getting into shape, that's simple, man. You can get it done like this. Anyone can get into shape. But making money, like making a lot of money, it takes the same level of like consistency it takes to get into shape. It takes that level of dedication, but the time, you need to be able to do that over a long period of time, and you can't just go and do the same things over and over again. You need to be switched on. Like, you actually need to work smart, right? But that's why like money is a good measure of success. It's probably the best measure of success that we do have, because again, like I said, it shows a certain level of mindset that most people just don't have, right? But the issue is when you get bogged down with that, in self improvement, you end up trying to achieve those things just for the sake of achieving them, rather than, oh, this is what I want. You forget why you got into self improvement in the first place, right? If you were to just go back to, I don't know, the day, I think it's called a canon event. If you had a canon event, canon event is where something really bad happens, like maybe your girlfriend breaks up with you or something terrible like that happens, that causes you to just flip a switch and completely change your life. But if you just go back to that day when that happened, like, ask yourself, why did you truly get onto self-improvement? What did you want out of it, right? And for most of us, I assume, probably think all of us, is because you're not happy with your life and you want a better life, right? You want a specific kind of life, right? And depending on how much detail you thought that out, and you can look back at that and use it as a compass to sort of redirect yourself every time you're sort of moving astray. Because like I said, in self-improvement, it's very easy to get bogged down trying to achieve things just for the sake of achieving them, because we need to improve ourselves, right? We need to improve ourselves to make ourselves better and achieve things. But the issue comes when you're just trying to achieve things for the sake of achieving them, like money, like you're in business. Like, why'd you get into business, right? You wanted to gain financial freedom so you could live like a good life, so you can spend as much time as you wanted with your family when you're older. But then you picture yourself like 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're not spending any time with your family because, oh, you're just at your business all day, like 18-hour days, 6 days a week, right? Like, you're just spending all that time working on your business, just trying to get more, just trying to get as rich as you can. And then you look back and you're like, what am I doing here, right? And I know Chris Williamson has a quote. Like, I want to see if I can remember it. He basically says that don't sacrifice the thing that you want for the thing that's supposed to get it, right? So an easy example is like happiness, right? You want to achieve certain things so you can be happy, right? But if you're making yourself miserable in the moment to achieve the thing that's supposed to make you happy, it's like, why don't you just skip the whole process and just be happy? Now, I know it's obviously context. Context is very important in this case, because obviously there's delayed gratification, right? Like, get rid of pleasure now so you could have like more pleasure in the future, right, or something like that. But I guess the difference there comes from pleasure and happiness. Again, there are certain things that you should be doing. Like a good example I can give to really explain this concept is the thing um of being flip. I tried to play that off as if I remembered what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say. Um, yeah, okay, so it's when you're supposed to be working hard to achieve something, right? Like I said, you're supposed to be working hard to achieve something so you can be successful, right? It's one thing to like get rid of the pleasures, like, oh, I'm not watching YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is. I'm not watching all of that. I'm not eating junk food. I'm not, watching porn. I'm not doing any of this stuff because it's a really short term pleasure. And literally, the moment I'm done with it, I feel bad. When I wake up the next day, I feel bad. It's done nothing but bad in my life. That's one thing to give up those things, right? But then when there's certain things, right, like let's say you love playing sports, right, or you love riding your bike, or whatever it is, and it's something you do, right? You do regularly, like maybe 3 days a week or whatever it is, right? But now you're chasing this new life, like you're trying to be happy, like you're trying to chase a good life so you can be financially free, so you can be happy, right? And now all of a sudden you're sacrificing that time that you'd spend, that 30 minutes to an hour that you'd spend 3 times a week or whatever it was, so you could work on your business, right? It's like now you're going down the wrong path because you're sacrificing the things that make you happy. You're sacrificing your happiness for the thing that's supposed to get you happiness. And it's like, just chill, like really think holistically, right, about what is it that you want in your life, right? And I have notes here, and yeah, okay. So the things with self-improvement is that we do build like our self-image when we get onto self-improvement. Like if you do it right, if you truly do it right, like if you do holistic self-improvement and you really work on your image and your insecurities and everything, right, you do build like yourself up mentally, right? And you build this I can do anything mindset, and it's a fantastic mindset to have. Everyone should have it. It's an accountability mindset. It's what gives you the mentality you need to go and achieve the things you want to achieve in life, right? But the issue with this I can do anything mindset is that it ends up switching to I can do everything and I need to prove that I can do everything, right? And now you end up chasing everything. As I said, you're trying to achieve things for the sake of achieving them rather than remembering, right, why you got into this and achieving the things that are meant to give you the life that you want, right? And I like to think of a video game character, right? I know First Man likes to speak about a straight 7 system, and it's perfect. Like you picture a video game character, right? You have the character that's got 7 and everything, right? Like okay, like we humans were speaking about our lives. Let's keep it that way, right? Picture you've got a 7 in looks, 7 in money, 7 in status, all that stuff, right? Like you got 7 in everything, right? Like that kind of man is like he's a very very rare man. Like you've got everything in order. Like that's pretty good, right? Then imagine the guy who's like trying to chase, like maximize everything. Like he's trying to get a 10 out of 10 and everything, right? Like okay, he identifies the thing that most men identify very quickly is that the two things that can really like get you status and like get you girls, let's say, is maximizing your physique and maximizing your wealth, right? So let's say this guy, he's a video game character. He's pushing 10 for physique and a 10 for money. Now getting to a 10 for physique, that takes like 10 years of like serious dedication. Getting to a 10 for wealth, again, similar thing. It takes ages and it takes serious dedication. Those two things alone, you have to sacrifice everything else just to achieve those and get those as 10s, right? So now you've got two different people here, right? You've got one person who's got like a straight 7 system. He's got everything bogged down, like decent enough, right? Like it's decent enough. Versus the other guy who's chasing, like he's really trying to get to that 10 for both those things. And then he gets to those things and it's kind of like everything else, like his life, it's not really like what he pictured it to be. Like he's got all the money in the world, he's got the greatest physique in the world, but like what else, right? Like life is empty, right? So the one way I like to speak about this and how you can prevent yourself from getting pushed down that rabbit hole, and again, it's so easy to get pushed down. Like I've been watching Hamza since he blew up, and I've seen him make so many radical changes over and over again. I've seen him go from like making all those big all those videos that were like absolutely killing it, and now he's making more and more money. But he's like, no, I'm just gonna keep reinvesting it in the business, and I'm just gonna keep living at home, eating my mom's food, right? Like freeloading off my parents. Like he's gonna keep reinvesting in the business. Then he switches and he's like, nah, I need to move to Dubai and like start expanding my life. And he's like, nah, that was bad for me, and I'm moving back home. I'm gonna be like wholesome and everything. I'm not gonna be degenerate anymore. Then he switches again, and I've seen like it happens, and I can see that happening for a lot of people, because like that's just what happens in life. Like when more and more things are presented to you, more and more opportunities are presented to you, it's very difficult to keep sight of like the main goal, because it's like, oh, like shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, I got this thing now. Oh, there's this thing now. I can do this. Oh, I wonder what life would be like if I had this. Oh, if I keep doing this, I can get more of this, right? You go to Dubai and you're like, oh, like you could be rich. Like you need to be rich to be able to like live in Dubai, go to Dubai for like a very significant period of time, right, and live like decently, right? When you go to Dubai, guaranteed you're not gonna feel rich at all, bro. Like in Dubai, they literally have like one of the status symbols in Dubai is having a number plate that's got a really low number. So if your number plate is like number 1, everyone in Dubai knows like you're the richest person there, and you know that because Dubai, so yeah, that's like a trillionaire, right? So you could go there, you could be doing really well in your life. You're making like bro, you could be filthy rich, bro. Like, let's take Imam Ghazi for example, right? Like, how much is he making, bro? Like, he's making flip. Like, I think he's probably making over like $50 million a year. It's like, you're sick. Like, you're sick. Okay, you're probably gonna hit like 9 figures very, very soon. You go to Dubai, bro. You're just an average Joe, bro. Honestly, like that's just what happens in Dubai. So it's like now you go there and you look and you're like, ugh. I thought I was filthy rich with my 100 million, and now you're looking around and you're like, ooh, they're billionaires and trillionaires, and it's like, ooh, I need to get to that level, and start asking around, how can I do that? And it's like, now you're kind of veering off, right? Like picture a ship, right? Picture a ship that's sort of like when you're traveling from point A to point B, right? You know, they use compasses. I don't know what they do now. I'm pretty sure they obviously have like much better technology now. But picture back in the day, like you got like a ship or like a raft, and you've only got a compass and you know which way it's supposed to go, right? Like you need to keep checking the compass to make sure you're not veering off, because you can't just be like, oh, we need to go north. I don't even know what the degrees are anymore. We need to go 185 degrees, whatever, right? And you point your ship there and you just let it go. It's never gonna get there, bro. It's only gonna turn around because of just the way the tides are, right? You need to be on it, and you need to keep resetting. You need to be keeping like, oh, we're veering off a bit this way. We need to go straight, right? Or another analogy I love to use is planes, like airplanes, right? They've done, it's not a study, but they've done calculations out of like a plane flying from New York to LA, right? And they've said that if the plane goes like 1 degree or something very tiny like that, if it goes 1 degree off, right, it'll end up in, I forgot what the place was, but basically it'll end up like in like, what's really far down? It'll end up in like Texas or something. Like it's not, no, Texas is close to California. Sorry guys, I don't know exactly, but you get the idea, right? It's supposed to go from New York to LA. If it goes 1 degree off, it ends up somewhere completely different, right? Like completely different, right? And that's what happens with planes, right? And also another analogy I loved hearing about in terms of planes was like a plane is never fully like straight. Like it's never just, oh, it flies and it's like this, right? Like it's always doing this. Like the pilot is always like readjusting. Like it's never fully balanced. It's always slightly to the left, slightly to the right, and it's always, the pilot's always trying to keep it balancing. And that's you in life. I mean, it's a good analogy for life in general. Like you're never just gonna be like straight cruising, right? Like cruise control. Like you're never just gonna be chilling like that. You're always gonna be readjusting, always trying to maintain yourself. And the same thing happens with like self-improvement and just trying to improve your life in general. Like you need to watch out for things like this, right? You always need to watch out for this, because in life, especially for guys on self-improvement, the more you keep improving yourself, the more things keeping opened up to you. Picture like celebrities, right? Or like footballers, athletes, right? Like or rappers or whatever it is. Like when they start like blowing up and they start getting more money, it's like more and more people want, like they're like, oh, we got this opportunity for you, we got this thing for you, oh, come do this, right? Come to these parties, come to this, right? And even all the girls are coming in and it's like, oh, yeah, and it's so much, right? And they need to like stay focused on they really need to stay focused, right? And that's the same thing you need to do in self-improvement, but not in the way of like, oh, you need to stay focused on the bag, like get as much money as you can, but Again, like I said, go back to that time you had your Canon event, or when you just decided I need to change my life. What kind of life did you want to picture for yourself, right? What kind of life do you want to live, right? What do you do every day, right? What's like the main thing you do, right? Who's around you? Do you have a family? Are you living a bachelor life, right? What kind of friends do you have around you? What do you guys do every day, right? What kind of food are you eating, right? What's your day like? Really like picture this. I want you to picture like visualization, massive thing. I've spoken about them many times. Psycho-cybernetics, read that book, it'll change your life, right? But like just picture like day to day, what do I want? What do I truly want? What kind of life if I'm living it every day, right? What I want. If money was like no object whatsoever, what kind of life would I live, right? And then you come back and you realize, okay, well, money is an object, right? But you've sort of got that picture of the life you want. And now you say, okay, I need to go get financial freedom so I can achieve this life, right? But getting that financial freedom and that money is only in service of getting that life, not for the as a means to an end to just get as much money as you want, right? I'm working hard on this to make this amount of money so I can live this kind of life, not oh I'm just chasing so I can make as much money as I can, right? So you need to think about that. What kind of life that I'm living would be appealing that my 8-year-old and my 80-year-old self would be so happy with? Like both of them would be ecstatic, right? And the reason like that's always a good analogy is that your 8-year-old self, they want like the exciting life, like they want a life that's like, ooh, I like doing this, I like doing. It's the fun part of you, right? And then the 80-year-old part of you is the one that is always going to have good hindsight and be like, oh, they're bigger on like regret because you know you're pretty close to that's like meditating on your death, right? It's like, oh, like if I'm 80, it's like I'm looking back and you only care about the things that matter, and that's why it's a good way to like bring those two together. Be like, what would my 8-year-old self be happy with, and what would my 80-year-old self be happy with, right? So yeah, picture that life. I'm sure you know, and if you don't, like really focus on that, like just build that life you want. Then you circle back, right? You come back from where you want to be to where you are now, right? And now you know the things you can figure out the things you need to achieve to get there, right? And then those things that you need to achieve, figure out the things you need to be doing today to achieve those things, right? Then once you figure out the things that you need to be doing today to achieve those things, you build a routine that includes those things, right? The things you're doing so you can get things out, right? The going to the gym so I can get like a good physique, so I can always be in good shape, I can attract like a good woman, and I can also be in good shape when I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s, so I can play with my grandchildren, right? Like just something like that, or like, oh, I need to gain financial freedom, so oh, to get to that financial freedom, I need to start this business, right? I need to do this side hustle, or I need to do this in my career, right? And that's your input, and it's like it fits your daily routine, and then you just focus on achieving that daily routine. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of the section in the comment section below, of the topic in the comment section below. I always stop that up. Right, make sure you guys let me know what you think of the of the topic in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to join the Self Improvement Brotherhood, and until next time, I'll see you boys.